Good morning everyone. Today we are going to see software testing unit 4 session 5. In the previous session we have seen what are the various career paths available for testing professionals. In today's session we'll see how is the organization structures for testing teams. Organization structure is very important in terms of effectiveness because an appropriate designed organization structure can provide accountability to results. So it is very important to have proper organization structure for the testing team because it gives the accountability credit for the testing teams, and it helps to promote better teamwork among the different engineers and creates better focus in the work. So organization structures provide a roadmap for the team members. So organization structures based on two dimensions. One is organization type and another is geographic distribution. So the organization type is again has two categories, that is product organization and services organization. So in a product organization, it produces software products like requirements, design, coding, etc. That means the more focus will be on requirements, design, coding and testing. So in a product organization, the organization has the responsibility of full product, whether it is a requirements, design, coding or testing. And in this product organization, only basic testing is done, and otherwise the full focus will be on developing the software products. Next we'll see service organizations. So in such type of organizations, they do not have complete product responsibility. They give services to other organizations. So these organizations are like external organizations who provide their services to other organizations. They take the software products and they apply all types of testing on it, and they give as a service. Next is geographic distribution of teams. So product or service organizations that are involved in testing can be either single site or multi-site. So the team which is working can be located at a single site. That means all teams are working on a single place, same place. And multi-site means the team members are distributed globally or for different places, and they're working from different places. They're communicating and they're doing the testing. Next we have evaluation of product companies. So whenever any company is started, it will be started with a small team size, and later on if the progress happens, then the team size increases. So the company first starts with small team size, and if it makes progress, then a large team size can be created. So whenever the companies are started at beginning, it follows informal process. So they need the time to study all the processes. So once they are perfect, then they can move to the well-defined processes. So at the beginning, the company handles single product. So once they are perfect in handling and making all the how to handle the single product, then they can handle multiple products. Single location. So at the beginning, they will be all team members will be working at single location, and later on, to increase their business, they will distribute the teams. It can be within the same country or it can be outside the countries globally. Next we'll see structures in single product company. So when the companies, when they start, they begin with a single product. The organization does not work with many formalized processes. So at the beginning they follow informalized processes and not some defined rules and all. So in these structures of organization in a single product company, development team performs the job of testing team. So the developers are going to perform testing and testers are going to do development. So there will be a job rotation among developers and testers. So this is the organization structure of single product company. So there is a project manager who will look towards all the team members, and each team has developers and testers. Developers are going to perform developing, and same people are also going to perform testing, and then they are again going to perform developers. So there is a job rotation among developing and testing. The same team will perform developing as well as testing. So the product delivery team members distribute their time among multiple tasks. So they are doing multiple tasks from developing to testing, testing to developers. So all the engineers report to the project manager, who is in charge of entire product with little distinction between testing function and development functions. Project manager handles all part of a product. So he look towards all the team members and all parts of testing as well as developing. So the advantages of single product company, and when the developers are testers and testers are developer, let's see what are the advantages and disadvantages. So exploits the rare loading nature of testing activities. So this structure provides an automatic load balancing where the early part of the project everyone works for development and later part they switch to testing. So at the beginning they work, all team members work for the developing, and later on they switch to the testing. Next is enables engineers to gain experience in all aspects of life cycle. So since engineers divides their time between development and testing, so they get to know what is involved in all the life cycle activities. So they gain experience in all the developing as well as testing. So organization only has informal processes. An organization in its early days usually has only informal processes, and there may not be well-defined entry and exit criteria for product to satisfy or to move from one phase to another. So organization at the beginning they follow has informal processes because developers are only testers and testers are only developers. So some defects may be detected early. So since the developers perform the testing functions, there is a possibility that they may catch the defects closer to the point where they can able to detect the errors. Next we have disadvantages. So accountability for testing and quality reduces. So the disadvantage of this, that developers are testers and testers are developers, is that it reduces the quality of the software. Since the same persons perform both the development and testing functions, so they suffer from the quality of the software product because developers, they don't have the full knowledge about the testing, and the developers mostly they don't like the testing. Developers do not in general like testing, and hence the effectiveness of testing suffers. So as I told you, developers don't like the testing and hence they have to compromise with the software quality. Developers do not perform all types of testing, especially the performance testing, which gives the better quality to the software, which is very important. And to perform the performance testing, they need to use the various tools, and they should have the knowledge about how to use these tools, whereas the developers, whereas this structure lacks that knowledge. They don't have that knowledge how to use the various tools. Schedule pressures generally compromise testing. There is always a lots of deadlines to meet, and there may not be sufficient time for testing. So developers mostly they spend a lot of time in developing, and they prefer the developing only, and at the end, due to the pressure and due to the less time, they compromise with the quality of testing. They may not able to perform all types of testing. Developers may not have the skill sets to carry out the different types of tests. So as I told you, they don't have the various skills to carry out that. Various tools are available, how to use them, and testing may require specialized infrastructure or skills, must be well versed in various tools, so that they don't have in this structure. So the solution for this is that instead of making the developers only testers and testers only developers, make separate groups for testing and development. So in a single In a organization structure of single product company, you make there two teams. One is for testing and development. So evolving to a separate team models. So separate teams for testing and development. So the focus is on specific skills, sets and interests. So developers focus on their whatever skills are needed and interest, and the testers focus on their specific skills and interest, and provides external perspective, increase the accountability and location of testing team for exploiting time difference. So here we have here project manager. So there is a development manager for developers. So the developers have to report the development manager, and there is a separate testing team. There is a test manager who is in charge, and the test engineer should report to the test manager. And the project manager has to look for both the teams development and testing, and have to listen to the managers and has to give the guidance to all the team members. So in this organization structure, the testing team must participate in the project decision making also, and scheduling right from the start. So both can participate in decision makings. Equal opportunity should be given for developers and testers. Next we'll see component wise testing teams. Now even if the company produces only one product, the product is made up of a number of components that fit together as a whole. So as we had discussed earlier, whenever you say a software product, it has many components, many modules. So whenever these modules are developed, these full modules components have to be integrated to make a whole system. So in order to provide better accountability, each component may be developed and tested by separate teams, and all the components integrated by a single integration testing reporting to the project manager. So in order to provide the better accountability, as we have the separate teams for developers and testers, but we are going to make a single integration testing team so that they can integrate this both developing and testing, developing of modules and testing of modules, and reporting it to the project manager. So in today's session, we have studied about the dimensions of the organization structure and the organization structure of a single product company, and how they work in the single product company, and how the distribution of the work is distributed among the developers and testers. And we have seen what are the advantages and disadvantages when developers are testers and testers are developers. We have also seen the solution on this, that is by making the separate teams for developers and testers. Thank you.